Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, we can hear you today. Yes. You don't have the
Oh,
hurricane over there, do you?
oh, no, we don't have hurricanes
Oh,
here.
okay. Well, everybody's talking about Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah, Hurricane Harvey is there
Yeah. He's
in the
after Lila. I
U.S.
think it's Hurricane Harry.
Yeah, we have typhoons.
Yeah, those are cool too. Yeah.
They're cool.
Funny
They're
place, the
cool.
Earth. Somebody's always chasing you. Yes. Yeah. So Claudie had to run, and George, because the hurricane was after them. That's Hurricane Harry. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, went right through
Oh,
Corpus Christi. That's kind of funny. It's there right now.
mhm,
Yeah, it's looking for them. It went up on the land, and I think it's going to come back, and then it's going to Houston. So maybe next it's going to New Orleans, Florida, New York. Try to find Claudie. She's got her shields up.
yeah, then is there any connection with the Newman's presence in the United States and the occurrence of such hurricanes? Is that not a physical manifestation of the sound?
Well, they have to blame it on somebody, Charles. So they're once they become known, once I become more known, they're going to blame me. Yes, it's not Harp anymore. It's Duane. He did it. Yes.
Well, it's not like using their kind of mentality. Um, I think the Newman itself represents the sound like reality on this level of life, and we know that there's an unseen um, sound light you can perceive only with the on the real side and on the physical side here. The this is the world of manifestation. So there must be some. There are some other physical phenomena that can depict this reality. So, what do you say about this sound and light that is pouring in with such ferocity on the U.S. Again?
Well, that's pretty accurate. Yes, and even uh, one of the best witnesses is Claudie for what she's seen on the real side. And yes, the new wave is much more than what the rod of power was for its time. In comparison, it actually is. I've seen it myself, and it's very interesting how it is. Because in Paul's day it was so, and prior to that things were as they were. So again, it's you might say it's what's coming in, what's established, and what's allowed to also enter in its own way. But as it becomes more known, people are become more agreeable. So that is it too. So just like what Paul created, it's about agreement. And so what we're creating too, it's about agreement. But people are much more aware, and this is where the rest of the world for right now um, cannot really recognize this. It's that recognition that's very important because the isness always is. Okay, it's not something that's we think of creation in a particular way and thoughts and ideas and imagination. But the isness always is, and it's just simply waking up to it and a position of agreement. So it becomes very interesting. It becomes this is what's so cool about it. It's nothing we have to create and hope and wish for, because it just is. And this is where again, most people cannot see it because they're used to the old way of doing things. In other words, believing in something or thinking and deciding. And again, waiting. This is where you get many of the Africans and many people around the world too. They're using the old God idea unconsciously, to where they're asking life for something instead of deciding. Uh, it's like asking life for a job, and many people do. It's like, well, can I have a job? Or you ask the guides or whatever. Well, yeah, you can have a job. But at the same time, you have to decide to have that job and then figure it out. It's a matter of figuring it out, your life and whatever. So it's not that the job is always available. If there's a job available, it can come up, the connection can be there, and the boys can help. But sometimes there's not. It's not ready. And so I see this with what I'm doing, with what I've decided to present to the world. So I get help. The boys come in and they help me with these things, but they've got to put it together in some way, put the pieces together so they fit, and it equals that opportunity in the physical sense. On the real side, it can be already done, like many people have seen. They've seen the vessels, they've seen the university, etc. It's all done. But here, it takes that agreement, so it takes longer for things to be put together. So again, it's an isness, but it's also an agreement. The agreement has to be there. So the manifestation of things, or what have you, or what the new wave is, again, it's about awareness, it's about agreement. And it's more acute than it was in Paul's time. Again, people were babied in Paul's time, and they still hang on to these things. If people would just simply step up and agree and recognize, and take the time to recognize this reality, that would make a huge difference. But for the most part, most people are in the thinking mode still, and they're trying to bring in, just like when people came into what Paul presented, they're trying to bring in their old stuff, thinking that it's going to work, and it's not. That's like buying a new car and saying, look, I want the old seats in my old car and I want to put them in the new car. Well, you can do that, but it's not the same. So again, seeing this, in a particular way, and learning what this isness is, because again, the literal part actually becomes confusing for many people. They think they have a grasp on it, then all of a sudden they realize they don't. Because you really have to pivot off this isness and not just pivot off your mind and your thoughts and your ideas, because that is really very secondary to what we're doing. We do physical things, but it is really the recognition that's very important. And this, with Paul and what, religions and what is taking place with the spiritual paths, what is presented here, is not the same as everybody else. They're still looking to the God ideas, to where there is someone else or something else deciding for each person and has created everything for everyone. And so, again, creation's a particular. This is when you really understand this. Creation's a particular, and I have to deal with it too, because creation is a particular. Just like paying the rent here. I have to pay the rent because this is how it's set up. Now, I can do funny things here but it may disturb situation. So I don't want to disturb situation. So we just play along with what's going here. But there is a difference between the isness and creation. So what really comes into this realm is, is not identified accordingly. So you do the best you can to, relate this. But now we're in the position because of how the world is and how people are unconsciously agreeing with the demise. This is huge. What has taken place? And there was an experience yesterday that Sam's group, he shared with one individual where he's at the top of creation and he saw it all as basically black tar and everything that was going on. And standing there, above creation and seeing it all, what's happening with everything. And people don't see this. They don't see how they're agreeing with all of this. It looks okay, but it's not. It's not at all. Just like we're on this planet, and people are doing their lives, doing their businesses, and it's all poisoned, and they're poisoning it, and they're even, adding to this even more, and not seeing this. So what we're presenting, is awesome, but the individual has to take the time. So this is where the push, you might say, really it is a push to really get this stuff out there, because there's only so long, just like Miriam's experience, the one individual had that you shared several weeks ago with the watches. And it's very real. We only have so much time. We only have so much breathable air. And to recognize this now, it's almost like do or die. It is. It's exactly that. And to really not take it for granted in any which way. I look at my awareness all the time, almost every moment. And any little attitudes or anything that try to get in, because the influence is always here, just sidestep it, you might say, just let it be, because these attitudes don't work. So that's kind of roundabout, Charles, I know, but it's very important. But then to some people it's not, and to those that it's not 100% important, then it's not. That's just how it is. You see, we cannot live on old ideas, and we really can't live on ideas at all. That's just how it is. And so a person must decide. So what's taking place in the world is the created world. But the fun part is learning to see, even though things are going as they are, the monetary system, as an example, your job and all this stuff, but to constantly see a side and different to that. Constantly to establish that for yourself. Because once you step out of here, which will be very soon, it's not long, it's basically already done, you will simply be in those, attitudes and frames, mind frames that you've created. I mean, that becomes your platforms. So you decide your position, your real position, more so. It's not to where, see, this is where, again, people are unconsciously thinking that it's all going to be done for them. When you buy the ticket to get on the bus, yeah, you bought the ticket, but you still have to step on the bus. You see, you still have to step on the bus. No one's going to drag you on the bus, even though you bought the ticket. And so it's like what people are aware of here, even though people are aware of this, they still have to figure it out. That's very important. I see it as very important. That's why I take the time, all the time, to be here with everybody, because I know it's not easy, and it's every moment. Yeah, life is as it is. And so, anyhow, yeah, I know my explanations are a little bit long, but I get to record these things and give many views on the same ideas. So your questions are very important to those that listen, and especially the Africans, because and it's not only the Africans. I know the Africans have a view of America, and America has a view of Africans, etc. Everybody has a view of everybody else. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the appearance of things or who has a better life or who doesn't. It's not about that. It's about what the individual sees. That's the important thing, and what they decide. Yes. But now is the era of the risk taker. And this is just how it is. Because if the individual doesn't even recognize that, then what do they recognize? The personal life can be nice, it can be fun, it can be wonderful, but the end result is, what do they recognize? And where will they be when they so-called step to the other side? Well, the other side is here and now. It's an isness. And if they haven't recognized anything, they won't recognize anything on the real side either. That's just it. So if they don't, as an example, don't recognize Rebus Artars here, how is it they're going to recognize them on the real side? It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same for them. So that's where it's very important what is said, presented, and the activities that are created for people to get involved. This helps wake them up. You see, getting them out of their routines. Because if they stay in the same routines, they're going to be the same as they have for lifetimes. So, yes, and your presence here is very important. Yes, to share this and to have people understand. I would say the number one, thing to do is to, aside from the writings and the literal part, which is fine, it's really a secondary reference, is to really learn to recognize the isness. Really learn to do that. That's number one. Yes.